Good afternoon. We are excited and honored to be here with you today to share our vision and recommendations for professional learning under ESSA. We've identified 3 key priorities for states and districts to consider when developing comprehensive plans around professional learning. We believe these 3 key ideas will help districts and states create equitable opportunities for student success. Our first key idea: what do we know about how teachers learn? We want to ensure that professional learning represents what we know about principles and best practices of adult learning that you see in front of you. Our recommendation is to use regional centers throughout the state to expand the EdCamp or unconference model. In Minnesota, we already have a successful system of regional centers of excellence that are staffed with education specialists, and we believe that would be an effective mechanism for spreading the EdCamp or unconference model throughout the state. The EdCamp or unconference model reflects best practices, and we believe it fits with ESSA's definition of professional learning because it's grounded in collaboration and it harnesses relationships and technology to improve student learning for the long term. Having personally attended EdCamps in the past, I can say that they definitely help move teachers past compliance towards authentic engagement. Our second key idea: how can we improve collaboration? Research shows that collaboration benefits not just students, but teachers as well. There's demonstrated efficacy in using teacher-to-teacher collaboration, and we see that in many lesson sharing sites that are popular today. From Teachers Pay Teachers to AFT's Share My Lesson, we know that millions of classroom-tested resources are being shared by teachers across the country. We want to see that same thing happen with professional learning resources. Our recommendation is that states incentivize a system and a way to share professional learning resources. The benefit of this is that it reduces redundancy and effort, and it makes sure that federally funded time is spent being creative with the resources that we have. Our third key idea: how do we build teacher agency and capacity so that these systems are sustainable? We want to elevate teacher voice, support diversity, and value teacher expertise. We believe practicing teachers are in the best position to understand the impact of policy. Hybrid leadership positions where teachers spend part of the time in the classroom and part of the time engaged in leadership work allow teachers to remain connected while at the same time contributing to broader educational initiatives. Recruitment and retention of a diverse teaching force is essential not just for creating equitable opportunities for our students, but also for fostering innovation and creativity among our staff. Some of the most meaningful learning opportunities that I've experienced is when I've had the opportunity to sit in another classroom and learn from that teacher. Peer-to-peer observations, especially when it's non-evaluative, puts value and trust in teacher expertise and gives us the ability to learn from one another. Our recommendation is to expand Grow Your Own programs to raise teacher leaders and recruit teachers of color. We believe that the most effective and sustainable change comes from within. Professional learning has the power to transform classroom experiences for teachers and for students. Comprehensive plans can further this vision through, number 1, differentiated and self-directed learning opportunities, number 2, collaboration across districts, and finally, number 3, an intentional focus and value on elevating teacher voice and diversity. Thank you very much.
Great job. Judge Hayes, do you have some comments?
I want to start by saying no, thank you, because I'm just so happy that for the first time today we heard that culturally responsive professional development is necessary. I think that where we are right now, you cannot have a conversation about professional development and education that does not include embedded practices that address culturally responsive needs of students, not separate and apart, but embedded in everything that we do. So thank you for that. And then just another emerging theme is that this clearinghouse or network of resources, so that once something is proven and it works, we can share it out with someone else. And then another piece that I love, because it's also something that I've worked on in my district, is expanding Grow Your Own programs. When we're talking about recruiting a diverse teaching workforce and being able to address the needs within a community, I think the best place to start is within that community. I know at my school, a lot of my students have to see it to be it. And when they see people who live in their community, who are from their community, who have been successful and are doing well, I think that they're more in tune. So to tap into that group of people instead of looking out in other places for resources is so valuable and important.
I was really pleased to see you build on an existing model. I think some of the times we think we have to come up with something new, but it was nice to hear you say that this is something that's going on in our state already and that you could build off that. I love that you have 3 key ideas so that somebody could walk away and describe your presentation. So often, as policymakers, we are asked to describe something that we saw for 60 minutes in 1 sentence. So helping people sort of frame it in their mind, I thought that you really did a good job of that. This 3rd key idea, agency and capacity. I'd encourage you to think about whether that's communicating exactly what you're trying to say, because I think what you're trying to say is you want teachers to take their own responsibility for this. I like the word responsibility in here somewhere, but that's just my feedback. And then just an open question about what states and locals should be doing. Should we be running our own preparation programs or training programs, or should we be partnering with universities? I think it's probably both, but how do we talk about that is something I'm interested in learning more.
A couple of things. I think, again, your presentation was outstanding. Using the regional centers, I think, is a great resource. And, again, it builds on those state resources that are already in place. The term unconference, I think that could be used quite a bit. I think that helps to visualize kind of the change that we're talking about. I thought it was novel to use a digital resource repository. I think that's a really great use of technology then as well. I think I would expand a little more on your concept of hybrid leadership positions. I think that's a term that needs more expansion so people understand, and particularly, people think about the role of a superintendent or they think about a principal. So I think really expanding on that would be valuable. And then again, maybe linking to student outcomes and needs would be valuable as well. But great job.
Wait, just one thing. I'll just admit, this had nothing to do with content. I thought the content was fabulous. Everybody touched on that. I would just give 3 suggestions on the presentation. First, I feel like if maybe a couple sentences in the beginning to sort of to give larger context. I felt like we got into it really quickly. I know you don't have much time. Secondly, you gave an example of like peer-to-peer was the best learning experience I've heard. If you could even give, bring it to life, what does that look like in the classroom? I don't really know what that means. And then thirdly, when you talk about the Grow Your Own or anything else you talk about, if you can point to any evidence that there's research that shows that these things work, I don't know if there is, but that would be great if you could.
What fabulous feedback.